This is very concerning as we have a brand new update regarding one player in particular on the Phoenix Suns whose availability has now come into question for tonight's game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And we're going to get into exactly who this player is and the implications that this has on the Phoenix Suns for this big game tonight. But guys, before we get into everything, we noticed that 98.4% of you are not subscribed. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers and we are just 100 away from our goal. So thank you so much for all of your continued support. You guys are awesome. So without further ado, guys, let's get into all of this news for today. And of course, from Kellen Olson here, Phoenix Suns insider, he has tweeted that Dillon Brooks has been added to the injury report and is questionable for the Suns tomorrow night. This was posted yesterday against the Minnesota Timberwolves due to left ankle soreness. And as well, Devin Booker will be out with his right groin strain. Hopefully, he will be able to play on Wednesday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And obviously, Jalen Green is still out with his right hamstring strain. Now, this is a little surprising and quite frankly, a little shocking because I didn't know that Dillon Brooks was dealing with some kind of injury there. I was watching the game against the Houston Rockets on Friday, and he didn't really seem to be very injured. I didn't see him limping or anything like that or anything of the sort. Maybe I missed something while I was watching the game, but he really didn't look like he hurt himself. He didn't look like he was in any kind of pain, so it was just a little surprising to see that he is on the injury report for tonight. Now, of course, he is questionable for tonight's game. It doesn't say that he's out. He's going to be most likely a game-time decision, but that is a guy that is definitely going to be needed tonight against a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves, who is a very fiery and competitive team in the Western Conference, and someone like Dillon Brooks is definitely going to be needed on the basketball court for the Phoenix Suns tonight. I mean, he is the second leading scorer on the team right now. He's the guy next to Devin Booker, who has been the primary shot creator. He's been great in the mid-range. He's been great from the three-point line. He's actually been a much improved driver at the rim as well. So, I mean, this is a guy that has really added an extra element on the offensive and defensive side of the ball to the Phoenix Suns, and he will be surely missed tonight if he doesn't play, but hopefully he does, guys. But just to kind of take a look at the starting lineup tonight, if possible, that I keep saying Devin Booker, Dillon Brooks does not play. You look at the lineup here and all the depth that we have. Now, guys like Jamari Bouye and Jordan Goodwin are going to have to step up. Now, Jordan Goodwin's been stepping up all season. He hasn't gotten like a lot of minutes, but he's been playing around 15, 16 minutes per game. But if Dillon Brooks doesn't play, he's obviously going to get a much larger role tonight, probably playing within the 20 to 25 minute range. But I'm looking at the players here, and if Dillon Brooks doesn't play, you'd probably see a lineup like Colin Gillespie, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, not Nick Richards, Mark Williams, and probably Royce O'Neal. I'd say that would be the lineup that would be playing tonight. That gives you a pretty good amount of spacing, a good amount of defense, even though Royce O'Neal has been a little lackluster on the defensive end, specifically in blow-bys. He has been pretty lackluster in that aspect, not getting around on the first step and letting guys get by him pretty easily off the dribble, really easy to create space on. But, hopefully he'll lock that down this year. He's always been a historically really above average defender, so I think that's something that he'll definitely work on this year and get a little bit better at. But overall, I think that might be the starting lineup for tonight's game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But, I mean, Jordan Ott could also run a small ball lineup where he's running like Grayson Allen, Colin Gillespie, and maybe Jordan Goodwin, even Jamari Bouye, if you wanted to. I mean, Jamari Bouye has been playing great so far this season in the little minutes that he has played. He had a great game against the Houston Rockets, putting up a career high, but let me know what your overall thoughts are on what the starting lineup could be without Dillon Brooks for even like future games if he doesn't end up playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder on Wednesday night, which would be a terrible, terrible thing because we really would need him against a team like OKC. And to have him not playing tonight is going to have some major implications on the team, and it really is going to decide whether they win or lose this ball game. Now, even with Dillon Brooks being out, there are some players other that I'm looking at in particularly that I think could earn some big minutes tonight, and that is Kama Malawach and Rasheer Fleming. Now, of course, we know how deep this center rotation has been for the Phoenix Suns. We have Nick Richards, we have Mark Williams, and we have, of course, Kama Malawach, who has been playing in the G League, and he's been playing really, really great so far, alongside Rasheer Fleming, who did get some minutes in the Houston Rockets game, and so did Kama Malawach. But I really do think that Jordan Goodwin should think about giving these guys, some real heavy minutes early in the game to kind of get their legs going. Like Rasheer Fleming looked great in the fourth quarter against the Houston Rockets, where he got the brunt of his minutes. He didn't play pretty much the entire game besides that fourth quarter when the game was pretty much a dud at that point. But I think to give him a real shot at real NBA minutes, not garbage time minutes, like real minutes against a really competitive NBA team in the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is another thing I want to get into later. We'll kind of get into a little preview of tonight's game and take a look at last game and see exactly what the Phoenix Suns did to end up coming out with the win for that game. But kind of just circling back here to Rasheer Fleming and Kama Malawach, I do think that they should get some real rotational minutes tonight, and I would really like to see them on the court to really see how they play and how they size up against like real NBA minutes and real NBA stars like Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and other guys like Jaden Daniels and Rudy Gobert. I'd like to see how they match up against those guys and see if they can take the physicality of the NBA. But looking at the last game, guys, against the Minnesota Timberwolves, which was, of course, a very, very close game, and Colin Gillespie did have that excellent game winner. The main thing that the Phoenix Suns did was it was just from an efficiency standpoint, like they were just hitting their shots. You can see here that they shot 32. Oh, that's not the Minnesota. That's Minnesota Timberwolves. My bad. Phoenix Suns right here. They shot 45% from the 3-point line. They went 14 of 31 there, and of course they also went 76% from the free throw line. And I mean, I've always been a guy that has always tried to really punch the point home that free throws are going to win you basketball games. Like, I really don't understand like why people kind of underestimate free throws sometimes, like they don't matter. Like, it is like in games like this where you see the score here, it is when it's a 1-point game like that, your free throws are going to matter more than anything else. If you're getting to the free throw line, you have to hit them. You can see here that they went 22 of 29 from the free throw line. But if you take a look at the Minnesota Timberwolves box score here, they only went 23 for 33. Anthony Edwards missed, what is it, 6 free throws there? Yes, he missed 6 free throws. Like, and that's a guy that you wouldn't expect to miss his free throws, right? And of course, he's going to get to the line as much as he possibly can. He's one of the best rim finishers at the NBA level. He's an excellent driver to the basket, great at dribble penetration. So he's obviously going to draw some fouls and get to the free throw line as much as possible. Another guy that can do that really well is Julius Randle. So there is really no excuse for the Minnesota Timberwolves to be missing free throws like that, because I mean they're overall a pretty solid free throw shooting team. But I mean, when you're getting to the line that much, you have to hit your free throws. And of course, that's going to play into tonight's game. I don't know who exactly is probably going to be running to the rim as much, because given the starting lineup that Jordan Ott goes out with, we don't know if it's going to be guys with a lot of dribble penetration going into the rim, or if they're just going to stay out behind the 3-point line, which is what the Suns have been doing all season, being one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. But this is going to be a really interesting matchup for tonight, guys, especially against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are a really talented, not just offensive team, but defensive team. I mean, they have one of the best rim protectors in Rudy Gobert. They have one of the best all-around defenders in Jaden Daniels. Anthony Edwards has been slowly becoming one of the more underrated two-way players in the NBA. We all know how talented he is on the offensive end, being one of the best 3-point shooting guards in the NBA, but he has made some excellent clutch plays on the defensive side of the ball. If you remember that amazing athletic block he made in Indiana, I believe it was last season or 2 seasons ago. But I'm really interested to see how this Suns team without Devin Booker and perhaps Dillon Brooks is going to match up against the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. But guys, let me know your thoughts down below and how your thoughts about this game, and if you think Dillon Brooks is going to play, and what the starting lineup you would like to see without Dillon Brooks and Devin Booker. Give me all your thoughts down below, guys. And as always, go Suns.